Welcome students for today's class. Today we are going to see the connection oriented transport, that is TCP, and we are going to finish up only two topics of this. There are four topics and this question will come for your 10 or 12 marks, and when it will come for your 12 marks of question you need to write all the 4 points, but it is not possible to finish up all the 4 points in a single class, so we will divide it. So today we are going to see only the first two points, and the next 2 points we will be checking it in the next class. And you will be having the problem also, some 2-3 marks problem also you can get separately in the different question. So that also you need to check it out, the like formulas and all, how it is going to take all the values, all these things you need to check it out in this topic. So let's go to the next slide. Here you can see TCP overview. Whatever the topic already we know the meaning and all, I'll just go little fast, and whatever we don't know we will go little slow. So in the TCP overview, we know that this is nothing but point-to-point contact. That is, one sender will send the request and the receiver will send back the response. So this is nothing but it is your point-to-point contact. And also we know that TCP is a reliable. Why it is known as your reliable? Because always it will pass all the messages in a error-free prone zone. So that is the reason it is known as your reliable. And also whenever it will send any kind of packets, all the packets will go through in a in order process, and also the packets will receive in the receiver end in byte stream. So there will be no message boundaries. The messages will not be in the buffer. All the messages in order procedure, it will reach in your receiver end. And also this TCP supports the full duplex data, which is also known as bidirectional data flow in the same connection. What do you mean by bidirectional data flow? Whenever you will have the sender and you will have the receiver, and sender is sending the data to the receiver, and also receiver is communicating with the sender by sending your acknowledgement. So it is known as your two-way connections. This kind of connection is also known as your bidirectional data flow. And all these things will happen once a TCP connection will get established. You are going to have the same connection, and you can, the data flow will be in between the both sender and receiver side. There will be one more thing will be there. We will have the segments. So the maximum segment size, which is also known as MSS, we have to design it. We are going to keep it. Some more points adding to your TCP. There will be some cumulative acknowledgements. It means that you, whenever you will send the number of packets, n number of packets, you are going to receive n number of acknowledgement at a time. So whenever you will receive that kind of acknowledgement, that is known as your cumulative acknowledgement. The next point is pipelining. What do you mean by pipelining? Where we are going to use this pipelining? Pipelining generally we will use whenever we will have the number of packets in a pipeline, when we are going to send it all the packets from your sender side to your receiver side. So that time what will happen is, this in this pipeline there will be the TCP congestion and also flow of control set window size. The meaning is, in the pipeline the TCP will try to avoid all these congestions and the flow of control. It means that the flow of all the packets, it has to take care of, it should happen very smoothly. That is the reason it is going to have the window size. Last class we have seen the window size or sequences we have given. So at a time 4 packets can go, and once the 4 packets will get reached, we can send the more packets again. That is nothing but your window size. So if we will do in that way inside the pipelining, then the TCP congestion won't be there. There will be a smooth flow of your packets. So now the next point is, the TCP is a connection oriented. Why it is known as your connection oriented? because whenever it will start transferring the data from sender to receiver side, the first thing is it will establish the connection. What kind of connection it is going to establish? That is known as your TCP establishment. So before establishing the connection, it will have the handshaking signal. That is nothing but it will send the control message, or it will exchange the control message in between your sender and receiver. So if it will do like that, then what will happen? It will initialize the sender and receiver before sending any kind of data. It will tell to the sender and receiver that you please get awake and we are going to exchange the data in between server and client. Next is known as your flow controlled. What is the meaning of flow control? The sender will not overwhelm the receiver. Whenever the sender will send any kind of message, it should not send in such a way that the receiver will get overwhelmed. So whenever the sender will send the message or any kind of packets, that should be some of the window size. Within that window size, the receiver should receive the packet and it should able to send the acknowledgement back. Otherwise what will happen? The receiver will get overloaded. So that time also we may get the packet lost. So that's the reason this is known as your flow controlled. Moving towards your next one, you can see here the TCP segment structure. You may get one question bearing the question value will be 6 marks, and they will ask you to draw the TCP segment structure with the diagram and explanations. That time you need to do the diagram of like this. So you know that the TCP segment, TCP majorly, so it is of 32 bits. So 32 bits. So what will happen? There will be two port. One will be your source port address, another one will be your destination port address. So both the ports will take 16 bits of data. So 32 bits will be your total. So next one, what will be there? You are going to have the sequence number. So sequence number, what is the meaning of your sequence number? As we discussed in the last class, the sequence number is nothing but it is going to count all the bytes of data. Okay, how many bytes of data you are going to send? If the window size has been designed for 4, then only 4 data values, 4 packets you are going to send from your source to destination node. So here what you are going to do, you have to check it out how many bytes of data you need to count and you need to send. All these bytes of data will be in the form of byte stream, not bit stream. You remember, this is also a Viva question where they will ask you that in the sequence number, when there will be the flow of data, how you are going to measure it. So you are going to measure it in terms of your byte stream. You are not going to consider about the segments. It is a sequence number or segment sequence number, and everything you are going to calculate in the term of your byte stream. So now next one will be, once the packet will be gone from source to destination, next we have to receive the acknowledgement number, and this acknowledgement number will be dependent on your sequence number. So this acknowledgement number, here you can see some bits of data we have drawn. So here the A will be written. This A is nothing but acknowledgement, okay, where it will take the bits of data. Remember, here it will take the bits of data, but it will expect all the sequence number in the form of your bytes. That you need to remember. Moving towards the next one, here you can see the last thing. Here you are going to like this area will be for only for your application data, and here all the variables is going to be saved, and this data has to be sent by this application layer into your TCP sockets. So here all the variables whatever will be present, everything is going to send by into your TCP sockets. Now here one more thing will be there, that is nothing but your checksum. we know that we have calculated the errors, how many bits of errors we are having. So that is also known as your internet checksum. So that value we have to add here. Whenever we will send the TCP segment, we need to add the error bit of data here in this area. Next one will be your options. That is nothing but if any extra variables you have, that is known as your TCP options variable, that of any kind of length you can attach and you can send through your message. Now you can see here the first one, whatever the bits of data are present over here, the first one will be your header. That is nothing but header length. So TCP header length. Okay. The first some bits of data will be your header length, TCP header length. The next one is not used. Some extra bit space will be present here. What is the next one? Here you can see the last three columns. That is also, it will take some of the bits of data. RSF. R means reset. Then RST, SYN, FIN. Don't worry for the full forms. We will see it very soon. So this reset, synchronization, all these things will be on your connection management. You are going to do the connection management here. Next is what? This one will be your receive window because this is your destination side. Okay. So that's why this is your receive window where the flow control has to be very smooth and the number of bytes is going to accept in the receiver side. What is the next one? Here also one more thing you can see, C and E. What is a C and E? That is nothing but your congestion notifications. The exact how it is going to work, the C and E, we will see that. So now these two terms are going to notify you if there will be any congestions. What is the next one? You can see this is nothing but UP, some data pointers. Okay, that is nothing but your data pointers. So this U and P, it is going to act for your data pointer value. Moving towards your next slide, here you can see the TCP sequence numbers and the acknowledgement. How we are going to send the data, how we are going to receive the data. So I told you that the sequence number always it will be dependent on your byte stream. It has to be calculated in terms of your byte stream. So it means that the number of first byte in segments data. Here we will see the diagram. So what is here? Here suppose I have taken my window size as n. So what is this green color mark? Already this packet has been sent and the acknowledgement also received. So that green color mark is, it is already done. What is this yellow color mark? It has already sent but not yet acknowledgement. That's why we used to give a term to represent this yellow color, that is known as your in flight. So it is in flight, it means that already sent but acknowledgement is not yet received. What is this blue color packets? These blue color packets are still in the pipeline but it has not been utilized yet. It is waiting for his turn. What is the gray color mark? These gray color packets are nothing but till now it has not been used and not in the pipeline also. So here I have taken my window size as n. Now what is happening? As per our TCP segment structure, so we are going to work out on these blue color packets. So here what will happen? This is my outgoing segment from the sender side. It is going to send. So there will be 32 bits of data, source port address, destination port address, and the sequence number. So the individual packets will have their sequence number. That sequence number we have to write over here in this sequence number place. Then it is going to send by, whenever the receiver will send, it will come with the acknowledgement number. So all the remaining fields will be filled like this. Then what will happen? In your acknowledgement side, it has to send back with the sequence number and the next byte expected from the other side. With that, it is going to send you the cumulative acknowledgement. It means that whenever this blue color first packet has gone, it has some sequence number. when it has gone to the sequence with the sequence number to the receiver side, in your receiver side, you can see here the segment from the receiver side, what is happening? It has to send it back with the acknowledgement number. I told you, and also here also some place was there where A was also present. So here also you need to write, here also automatically it will attach and it will come back. So this is nothing but your total number of acknowledgement. Also it is known as your cumulative acknowledgement. So now one question will come like, how receiver handles out of order segments? It means that if the packets is not reached and it is not acknowledged, then it means that all the full of segment, it became the out of order segments. So now how it is going to handle in this TCP side? So here we are going to check it out how it is going to be implemented. Now you can see one scenario here. This is nothing but TCP sequence numbers or acknowledgement. Here one host is there, here also one more host is there. It is just a simple telnet scenario. Okay, so here what is happening? Here you can see the user type C. Okay, so here it is having some sequence number, some acknowledgement number, and the data values. It is going to send it. Next, what will happen? The host will acknowledge the receipt of C. The host will acknowledge the receipt of C. Okay, and it will echo back the C. What will happen? What was my here? Whenever it will receive with this acknowledgement 79, what it is going to do? Now it is going to send back. So it means that in between sequence 42 to sequence 79, some other data also has been passed. It is not that only C we have sent. Some other data's values has already been sent, and also this data C also echoed back and received inside your host A. Okay, so it will not wait that once C will receive, then only I will send the next one. No, it will keep sending. Then with the next acknowledgement number, it has come. Okay, and sequence number 79 has been received over here. Then again, the next sequence number also it can send back. You can see here sequence 42 has done for the C. That's why next sequence number has been sent over here. Now here you can see sequence number 42. Here it was the acknowledgement 43 because in between one more packet has already gone. So now next one is what is happening? Sequence number 79, acknowledgement is 80. So here always it will take in between some other packets also will be there who is going to pass out. Moving towards the next slide, here we are going to calculate the round trip time, the TCP. So how to set this TCP timeout value? It will be longer than your round trip time, but this round trip time also it has to be vary. It can be too short, it can be too long. It means that the packet will take more time to reach, otherwise the packet will take very less time to reach. How it is happening? This is one kind of your question. One more is also question is there, how you are going to estimate the round trip time. There is very simple way. You have to calculate the sample RTT. This is a term, which term you have to use in your program. How it is going to measure? Measure time from segment transmission until the acknowledgement received. It means that when the packet will send from one host to another host, you need to start calculating the time from that time to till the acknowledgement will receive. That total time period is known as your round trip time. And also you have to ignore the retransmission time. If suppose a packet will get lost, you need to ignore this. And this sample RTT will vary because it can be a smoother also. It like if it will get retransmit, that time it may vary the time. Okay, so now we will see the formula how you are going to calculate this. This is a already indefined formula you need to remember, and you can understand how this formula has been created. So now my estimated round trip time will be equals to 1 minus alpha into estimated round trip time plus alpha into sample RTT. So this is nothing but it is going to calculate your exponential weighted moving average value, and also it will influence the past exponential because it is having the estimated RTT here also. It is taking the previous value and getting calculated. Normally we will take the alpha value as 0.125. So this is a diagram where you can see the blue color marks, that is my sample RTT, but my estimated RTT will be in the pink color lines. If I will take in this side my x-axis, the time in seconds, and in milliseconds my y-axis, that is my round trip time. This is just a diagram. Don't worry for this diagram. This diagram is not necessary to do in the exam, but it is just to know how it is going to be calculated. Majorly we are going to use only this formula for our calculations. So here you can see one more thing also, time out interval. Time out interval, how you are going to calculate? You have to add estimated round trip time with that the safety margin. And if there will be large variation, then you have to take the larger safety margin. How it will be? So timeout, this is one more formula. Timeout interval will be equal to estimated round trip time plus 4 into dev RTT. This is nothing but your safety margin. In the question paper, all these things very clearly it will be mentioned. Don't worry that how I'm going to calculate. In the question paper, it will be there very nicely. The thing is that you need to understand which term I have to take for which term. That is the main thing. That also we will see. If you want to do some more activities or exercise, you can follow this online interactive exercises. There will be in this site. There are some more exercises are there based on this question, based on these formulas, that also you can solve. So now what is this dev RTT? This is nothing but this is a deviation from your estimated RTT. How much safety margin it has been taken to calculate your sample RTT, that number or that value you need to take for this. Now, one more, if you don't have directly this value in your question paper, then there is a different formula to calculate this. What is the formula? So this formula will be 1 minus beta into this. This value will be the previous one plus beta into all these things. You are going to take the absolute value for this. And this beta value normally it will be 0.25. So alpha value we know that 0.125, and the beta value will be your 0.25. This is already the value is there. You are going to utilize this. In the question paper also sometimes they will be mentioning that the alpha value is this much, the beta value is this much. But it is always better if you are going to remember the values. It is not difficult to remember. Alpha is 0.125, beta value is 0.25. Now we will see how we can make the sender side things very simplified way. So here the event will be there, the data received from the application. So whenever we will send anything, any packets, always we need to create the segment with the sequence number. So this sequence number, as I told you, everything will be in the byte stream number, and there will be a start timer. If it is not running, then it will be problematic because we need to give the timer within the acknowledgement time period it has to receive. But if that it will expire within the interval of time, that value we are going to consider as time out interval time. You need to remember this keyword, that if it will expire within the time period, then the next value whatever it will come, that will be under your time out interval. So what is this timeout now? You are going to retransmit the packet within the segment once again, because the time has out, the packet couldn't reach in your receiver side. So you need to restart the timer. That timer is nothing but your deviation timer. Okay, so you need to take that. Now, if the acknowledgement has been received, so what will happen? So you need to find out your previously, if any unacknowledgement segment will be there, you are going to update it. If it is received the acknowledgement, it is very nice, no problem. If it is not received, you need to start the time only for the on acknowledgement segments. You can see here one diagram is there. TCP receiver acknowledgement generation. Okay, so here some events will be there at the receiver end and how the receiver will take the actions. So here what will happen, first the event arrival of in order segment with the expected sequence number. It means that the packets are going to reach in your receiver side. All the data up to your expected sequence number and already been acknowledged. Everything is going on fine. The packets are reaching and it is getting acknowledgement. That time what will happen? If it will be delay in the acknowledgement, it will wait only up to 500 milliseconds, not more than that. Because the time period we have set like that only for the next segment. If no next segment, then it will send the acknowledgement. And also, suppose we are going to send the arrival of in order, it is proper, but on one other segment has acknowledgement pending. What is happening here? You have sent the packets, but the previous acknowledgement has not been received. So what will happen that time? In the receiver, how it is going to take the actions? It has to immediately send the single cumulative acknowledgement, means whole total acknowledgement it is going to send. It means that suppose packet 2 it's not been acknowledged, but packet 3, 4 already been received in the receiver end. So what will happen? Packet 2 we have to retransmit again, but when it will receive with the acknowledgement, the cumulative acknowledgement will come. It means that the cumulative acknowledgement for your packet 2, 3 and 4 at a time it will receive in a in order segment in the sender side. Next, you can see if it will be out of order, what will happen then? Then everything, the gap will happen, right? So detection will be there, the error will get detected. That time, you need to send all the duplicate acknowledgement and you have to indicate the sequence number for the next expected byte, because that time the sender will not come to know that which packet I need to send again, because everything will have the out of order. So that's that time the TCP receiver side, how it is going to take the action? It is going to send with the sequence number and it will ask you that you send the next expected byte. What is the last one? Whenever the arrival of segment that partially or completely fills the gap. Whenever it will fills the gap, slowly, whenever it will be like you are going to get the data and everything properly, that time what will happen? It will send that immediately. The acknowledgement is absolutely fine and it is going to start with the lower end gap. Slowly it will fill up all the gaps. Here you can see how the retransmission scenarios will happen. Here there is the lost of acknowledgement scenario. Here it is a premature timeout. There are two scenarios. See here, sequence number 92, 8 bytes of data has been received, but acknowledgement 100 is missing. So the time out. What will happen next? Again, you send the same sequence number with the data packets and receive the acknowledgement. So here what will happen? It will just wait for your 500 milliseconds of time. If acknowledgement has not been received, then the host A will understand that somewhere something is missing. So send it once again. But what is happening in this side? The said it is going to send two pack sequence number. You can see 98 plus 8, 100, right? Because it is having 8 bytes of data. So the next sequence number will be 100. So it is having 20 bytes of data. So when the first one will receive, it will send the acknowledgement 100 because my last packet will be bearing it 100. So acknowledgement 100 received. Next acknowledgement 120 will receive. Here the base will be your 100. Here the base will be 120. How 120 came? 100 plus 20, 120 of total packets. So acknowledgement, the last sequence number will be 120. That's why we are receiving the acknowledgement. This is your premature timeout. So if suppose in the case something missing and 92 has not been received, what will happen that time? It is going to ask for the cumulative acknowledgement and send that or everything together once again. Here you can see one more retransmission scenario where the cumulative acknowledgement covers for earlier loss of acknowledgement. How it is going to do? Two sets of data we have sent, but one set of acknowledgement has been lost, but the next one is going to be received. What will happen? Here again it will send again 15 bytes of data. So that is nothing but it is going to repay or retransmit once again. But what will happen here? One more time, it is very fast transmit. This is known as fast transmit. What will happen here? You can see host A is there, host B is there. We are going to send the data packets. So that time what will happen? Here sequence 100 is been lost and the next sequence numbers has been forwarded to your host B. It will not wait. So what will happen? Acknowledgement 100 received. Next also same thing is receiving because this has been lost already. So it will ask that already something has been lost. That's why the acknowledgement is getting repeated. So you need to send the packets once again. So here 3 duplicate acknowledgement has been received, that which indicates that there is some missing segment or lost segment. So retransmit. So again it is going to retransmit the same one. You can see here sequence 100, it is going to retransmit. This is known as a fast transmit. So in this fast transmit, this is here as triple duplicate acknowledgement values has been received. The receiver, the sender side, they came to know that there is some missing packets. So they are going to retransmit once again. So this is all about your TCP fast transmit. And I told you that I will complete only 2 points today. So the 2 points over here only. So the next 2 points we are going to see it in the next class.